What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode number 277 of the A2D From Addict to Disciple podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, please like, subscribe, follow, and share the link with your friends. If you'd like to get our curriculum, you can get the paperback or ebook of From Ashes to Destiny on Amazon. Today's episode number 277 is entitled It's Honest Work. This is another Wacky Wednesday episode, and honestly, wow, this is the last of the Wacky Wednesday episodes for now, as we're in the very last chapter of the book. That's chapter 18 from phase 4 of the From Ashes to Destiny curriculum. Again, phase 4 deals with learning to walk in freedom, and this episode's entitled It's Honest Work, because that's what Toons told me in his story. And I just want to encourage you as I read his story to contact me if you have any questions or concerns at any time. And if anyone would like notes because you're leading groups and you want more of information on the questions that I ask for discussion, I can send you a copy of my notes if you email me. So here we go. I open this chapter by saying, as you continue in your walk beyond this study, you will repeatedly find yourself at crossroads in life. You will find yourself in pain, disappointment, frustration, anger, and other emotional storms from time to time. In each of those situations, you have the choice to give in to temptation and take the easy way out, or resist the enemy and watch him flee as you stand fast. The first words Toons spoke to me were works, weed, dope. What do you need? I've got Jesus, I replied. I'm good. Oh, I'm sorry, Toons said quickly. You must be that Pastor Dave guy they told me about. No problem, no offense taken, I said. Toons was still embarrassed. I feel like a fool, he said sheepishly. It's just that the only white guys we get down here are buying drugs for their party in the suburbs, or maybe it's some narcs buying drugs so they can bust us, he continued. Well, I'm just here sharing the love of the Father and the hope of the Son, I replied. I'm not sure about all that Jesus stuff, he said. I'm going back to my roots and getting into my Jamaican beliefs, Toons stated as he ran his right hand through his long dreadlocks. We can be friends, though, he continued, as long as you don't try to stuff Jesus down my throat. Actually, my job is to see Jesus inside of you, not put him there, I replied. Just then, a new Audi slowed down as it went by. Toons hopped in and was gone. As the car drove off, I could tell by the absence of an extra registration sticker that it was from outside Philadelphia. 10 minutes later, Toons came up to me on the street and said, Sorry I left you like that. It's just business. I understand, I said. As I got to know Toons over the coming weeks, he shared more about his life as a dealer on this particular street corner. As long as I'm here, whenever the supplier comes by, he keeps the competition away from my corner, he shared. What happens if you're not here? I asked. You know Shane, don't you? He replied. Not waiting for my answer, he continued. Well, he leaves his corner a lot. The first time they caught him getting high rather than selling, they beat him bad with a couple of 2x4s. The second time, they made him stand still while they shot him twice, once in each butt cheek. I don't want that happening to me, said Toons, with a look of pain on his face. So why does Shane keep coming back to sell for them? I asked incredulously. It's honest work. We don't mug anyone or boost any stores, and they pay us in drugs, he replied. You couldn't ask for a better setup as a young guy in this neighborhood, Toons said. As long as you don't get busted, he added. Or beaten, or shot, I replied. I haven't been as foolish as Shane, Toons concluded. Besides, I only do crack, so I don't have to worry about nodding off and forgetting where I'm supposed to be. I really felt that Toons was a guy that never really let Jesus or me in too deep. He always ended our conversations and had to go whenever I began to press in. One day, he wasn't on his corner, and no one had a clue where he went. Within hours, the supplier had set up a new young dealer in business, and Toons was a fading memory. That is, until 8 months later, when I saw him working as a waiter at the Franklin Mills Mall. His dreads were gone, he'd gained about 20 pounds, and his hug was genuine as he said, "I'm so glad to see you, Pastor Dave. I'm not sure how it all happened that I was able to get out of El Segundo. One day I woke up and saw how foolish my life had become, and I knew I had to leave if I wanted a hope for a future." Wow, what a great story of Toons. Let's get into some discussion questions on it. We're talking again about what crossroads we face in life, and they could be routine crossroads, but they're important because these things tempt us to slip, relapse, or simply give up. And Toons kept him rationalizing and minimizing that he had honest work. So the first comment for discussion I want to say is, forsake foolishness and live. What foolishness are you still caught up in that keeps you from going in the way of understanding, that darkens your understanding to what is wisdom? Next question. Toons was embarrassed because he felt like a fool. He assumed I was there to buy drugs. What makes you feel like a fool? What do you do when you feel embarrassed by something you did or assumed or something you said? Toons' ancestral beliefs limited our spiritual talks, but he wanted to be friends. Do you have any friends who can speak into your life as long as they don't try to stuff Jesus down your throat, as Toons said? Next question. Toons' business always came first and could interrupt him at any time. What has that same importance in your life? Getting high, the appearance of your dealer on the street, hustling up money, getting clean, your faith? What is it that has the power to interrupt whatever's going on and always comes first, as business did for Toons? Next question. Toons said it's honest work because he didn't have to mug anyone, boost any stores, and he got paid in drugs. How do you react to that kind of minimization and rationalization? I'd like you to sort of find someone to talk about that and maybe role play about it. What are you rationalizing and minimizing that is not being honest with yourself, as Toons wasn't by calling it honest work? Next question. Toons faced a beatdown if he wasn't at his post on the corner, and he was quickly replaced when he was a no-show one day. Who has brainwashed you that you feel important? Who would beat you down, or who threatens to beat you down? Why do you stay in a position or relationship knowing you could be so easily replaced in a moment? And the last questions. Toons said, one day I woke up and saw how foolish my life had become, and I knew I had to leave if I wanted a hope and a future. Are you stuck in foolishness? What must you do to find your hope and future? Are you ready to take that step to leave the corner as Toons did? Thanks for listening to this episode of the A2D from Addict to Disciple podcast. And thanks so much if you stuck through all the Wacky Wednesdays with me, for going through all the chapters of the From Ashes to Destiny curriculum. If you'd like to contact me, you can message me on the link in this podcast or by email at davidfroma2d@gmail.com, or go to my website, www.froma2d.org, and click on the contact page. If you're listening on Spotify, you can leave your comments by clicking on the link they provide on that platform. Keep listening to future podcasts as a new one drops every Monday. And as always, stay safe and stay resilient.